The next day, Wine went to college. It was different. The word spread about the murder of the three guys who abused Wine. Wherever she walked by, people parted, giving her the way or most probably avoided her. Those eyes, they were different now. Before this, she was almost invisible. Now everybody noticed her. Everybody looked at her with fear-filled eyes. She got everything without demanding. If she wanted something from the cafe, she didn't need to get in the line. If she wanted a seat in the crowded area, she got it too. Anything, anywhere. She got it all. Not like she asked for it, they would just run away. Was it that her husband liked this feeling of power and dominance? One was sure if she said anything, they would do it without hesitation. Good. It felt good. She may have understood her husband a little here, or maybe she was just as insane as her man. The hallway was empty. She opened her locker upon reaching it, and as she reached inside for her books, something fluttered onto the ground. A photograph. Air in her lungs stirred. It was a grainy shot of Jungkook seated in his office. The angle was strange. It wasn't from security footage. It was from inside the room. Someone had been there, watching. His stomach twisted as their eyes drifted to the words scrawled beneath the image. He is not the only predator. Her first instinct wasn't fear, it was disbelief. The idea that Jungkook could be vulnerable enough to be preyed upon was laughable. The man existed like an unshakable force, a predator himself ruling over a world that feared him. And yet, the warning bled into her mind. She swallowed hard. The next moment, she thought about what Sophia told her. This business took her husband away. Her fingers clenched around the paper. Wine had her own reasons. The biggest thing you ever need in this world is protection. She learned it not too late after getting married. Jungkook provided her that. She needed him safe. When she told him she didn't want him gone, that was her biggest reason. She shut the locker and saw the thoughts in her mind. She had no interest in playing detective. She wasn't taking the bait. She wasn't a fool, nor she was naive enough to think she could handle something like this. She was simply going to do what she always did, go to that one person who could solve it, shove this at him, and then forget about it. Jungkook's office was dimly lit when she arrived, the heavy scent of leather and faint traces of gunpowder lingering in the air. He sat at his desk, fingers pressed together. Take it. You came unannounced, he said, voice even, unreadable. She ignored the comment and placed a photograph in front of him. He barely glanced at it before leaning back in his chair. Take it. Are you worried? Warren, someone got close enough to take it. Silence stretched between them. Warren, and someone got close enough to your wife to threaten her with it. I thought you said I'm safe. You are safe. Jungkook tilted his head slightly, the faintest trace of amusement flickering across his features. Was he enjoying this? Take it. Someone did that. It's because I gave them enough permission to do so. Ryan, what do you take it? You're safe, Ryan. Gave you my word to protect you when I took the vows. It stays. What Sophia said is the cause of your concern. Ryan, it does concern me. Don't make me repeat it, John. I want your life. Take it and do whatever you want. Make sure I'm out of this. I've quite little interest and patience for it. She turned and stormed out. Jill crawled up her spine, goosebumps raising her body as she stepped out of the office. He was too calm for someone who is a target. Or has he always been one? David, I'll drop you off. Jungkook's car opened the car door for her, which clearly meant either he ordered them to, or they already knew what to do. Either way, one got in and decided to return home and forget about it all. The car passed by the city neon lights. Everything blurred just like the thoughts in her mind. What did he mean by those words? Did he really have control over everything? One groaned, rubbing her temples. She needed a distraction, and so she got one. The car jerked violently, one lunged forward, catching herself before slamming into the seat in front of her. The tires screeched as David swore under his breath. Her heart pounded as she snapped her gaze ahead. Something was clearly wrong. The street, which had been mostly clear a moment ago, was now completely blocked. Five cars had positioned themselves across the road, their headlights glaring through the rain like glowing eyes. David clicked at himself faster than she could process and decided to reverse the car. But before she knew it, another set of cars had boxed them in from the back, and then from the sides. There was no escape anymore. Her breath caught as multiple car doors swung open in unison, revealing men clad in dark clothing, fully armed. Those huge rifles almost blinded her view. Her entire body tensed, fingers sticking into her seat. And her first thought was Jungkook. Where was he? Did he not tell her she was safe? What scared her even more was those men. As they came towards her, they weren't rushing. They weren't panicked. They were precise, controlled. That meant one thing: a clear message. They were not afraid of Jungkook. David, stay down. His hand went for his gun, his jaw clenched. Voice sharp, but one barely heard him over the blood rushing in her ears. This was insane. It was nothing like what she read in books or saw in movies. She could not compose herself no matter how much she tried. Rest of it was a blur. A warning from David before he reversed the car with a full-on plan of hitting a few of them on the way. Wine's body jumped everywhere it could before the attempt was proven unsuccessful. Then it was there. Blood. David's blood. Shoulder was shot and then another. Her vision blurred, her heart racing. Before she knew she was pulled out as well. She did not understand what was going on, but she was not going down before without a fight. She kicked the man with all the force, but it was blocked. They were trained with good reflexes. A fist met her stomach, kicking the wind out of her lungs as she fell on her knees. A gun pressed against her side. Move, and I'll blow your brains out. The command was low, firm, and left no room for argument. David was still fighting, still trying, but there were too many of them, and with his both arms were practically useless with his shoulders pierced. Blood rang in her ears. She could hear it, smell it, see it. Why? All she wanted was to go home, get under her warm sheets and sleep. Where was her husband now? Ah, he was gone like he had been every time she ever needed him. And now all one saw was hell awaiting her. To be continued.